Why ecological design? All architects know deep down that our planet is suffering. We are among the authors of this suffering, but we can also be the authors of its recovery. Addressing this condition begins with understanding it. Our society is like being in a crowded boat adrift in a turbulent sea. The boat is leaking and risks capsizing. To survive, we need knowledge to fix the leak, guidance to navigate towards safety, and time, precious and rapidly diminishing. The people in the boat represent our entire human society. The boat itself is our urban environment, our cities. The turbulent sea is the environmental crisis. The leak is the looming threat of planetary apocalypse. The knowledge we need is the science of ecology. The guiding directive is to design in biomimicry of nature's ecosystems. Our tools are the remade, regenerative built environments, constructed ecosystems that work with, not against, nature. But time is of the essence. These are the fundamental premises and rationale underlying ecological design. We stand at the edge of solutions that can address the environmental crisis based on these premises, to show designers, architects, planners, etc., how to design and build to save the planet. The purpose of ecological design is to address the impact of the current built environment on the planet that has turned much of the Earth into a large human-made artifact that is extensively alienated from its natural hinterland, with the natural environment becoming increasingly subjugated. The design of society's built environment, technological and production systems cannot continue in its current deleterious ways. Designing with nature had in the past decades been to ensure that human action makes minimal negative impacts on the natural environment. But in the intervening period between then and today, humans had inflicted such extensive damage that designing with nature is no longer mitigating negative impacts, but a race and rescue mission to repair and regenerate the planet's damaged systems, where much of the current impairments will extend well into the future. Human society has the responsibility to fix the planet to address the crisis that it has devastated, not just for the benefit of human species, but for the full web of life in the planet's biomes and ecosystems. In the event humans devastate the planet, where the human species become imperiled by its own callous action, nature is not concerned, as it will recover over time by adaptive responses and succession. Society needs to change its way of thinking about nature. Addressing the current environmental crisis is not just by how we design, build, operate, and use the built environment and its systems. We crucially need to rethink design, to repurpose and to reinvent how we design, make, and operate the built environment that will not cause further impairments, and at the same time repair and regenerate the impacted natural environment. This refers to not just the built systems, but to their materials at the end of their useful life. Concurrent with rethinking on approach to building design, we need to start addressing the environmental crisis, ultimately, with us humans, and how we respond to the crisis. Changes in human society's socioeconomic, political, and institutional are needed. If humanity is in denial or remains passive, or looks the other way, the environmental crisis will persist and end in global apocalypse. Human society needs to adopt ecological design as the redefined new social contract of humans with nature. Q2. What is ecological design? Ecological design is a nature-based approach defined as the design and planning of the built environment as applied ecology and environmental biology. It uses biological systems thinking to address the environmental crisis and achieve sustainable, resilient outcomes. Its goal is to prevent further degradation, regenerate natural systems, remake the built environment into ecology-based systems. This involves shifting from a dislocated technology-to-nature relationship to a seamless nature-to-nature integration. The design must mimic ecosystem structures and processes through biomimicry, redefined as ecomimicry, aiming for the built environment to function synergistically with natural systems. The ultimate agenda is to re-nature and re-wild cities and urban environments into ecologically balanced systems, moving from a technologically driven to an ecology-driven framework across all human-made systems. Q3. What is biomimicry? What is biomimicry? Biomimicry is the design method that closely copies the physical and systemic properties of biological systems to create new systems, artifacts, and processes that are both beneficial to humans and benign to the planet. For ecological design, the biological system mimicked is the ecosystem, viewed not as a specific local unit, but as an abstract systems ecology concept. An ecosystem is a community of organisms interacting with their physical environment, with nutrient cycles and energy flows connecting living and non-living components. Key steps in biomimicry-based design include emulation, copying ecosystem properties, replication, reproducing their functions, augmentation, collaborating with nature, enhancement, intensifying positive traits. These steps aim to recreate constructed ecosystems, where built environments emulate ecosystem services, functions that nature provides, e.g., clean air, water purification, soil regeneration, without human intervention. Ultimately, biomimicry is the foundation of ecological design. It requires applying ecosystem properties to all human-constructed systems, buildings, infrastructure, agriculture, etc., to develop synergistic systems that integrate into and support the planet's life support functions. Here's Q4. What are the features of the constructed ecosystem? From the PDF. What are the features of the constructed ecosystem? A constructed ecosystem is a human-made system, buildings, infrastructure, artifacts, remade to engage directly with natural systems in a nature-to-nature relationship. Its goal is to form a hybrid ecosystem, part artificial, part natural, functioning as a single biological whole. Key features include biomimicry of ecosystems. Design draws from the attributes of natural ecosystems: structure, content, processes, and services. Seamless integration. Built systems must physically and systemically integrate with nature to become benign, synergistic components of the Earth's biosphere. Eliminating the techno-nature gap. The goal is to replace the current artifact to nature, disconnect with an organic interface where technologies are intertwined with biological systems. Hybrid living machines. Built systems operate as part of nature, not separate from it. Think of cities and structures as extensions of ecosystems rather than intrusions upon them. Benign splicing. Infrastructure and technological systems must be harmonized and embedded within biological processes without disrupting natural balances. In essence, a constructed ecosystem isn't just about building green structures. It's about rethinking the very interface between human systems and natural ones, so the built environment coexists with nature as one interlinked living system. Here's Q5. What are the positive ecological outcomes? From the doc. What are the positive ecological outcomes of ecological design? Ecological design aims to do more than reduce harm. It actively restores, regenerates, and supports the planet's ecological health. Its positive outcomes include restoration and regeneration, restores damaged ecosystems, rewilds urban environments, reestablishes ecological balance, water conservation, harvests rainwater, treats blackwater naturally, recharges groundwater, recycles water use. Soil and air health, prevents erosion and topsoil loss, eliminates toxic emissions, solids, liquids, gases, particulates, addresses ocean acidification. Energy and waste, shifts from fossil fuels to renewable energy systems, adopts on-site renewable sources, conserves material resources, designs for reuse, recycling, and reintegration into nature. Human-centered benefits, creates healthy, biophilic, comfortable, and aesthetically pleasing environments, encourages adaptive reuse and long-term material life cycle planning. Systemic change, requires large-scale, coordinated waste management and resource cycling, promotes a closed-loop system instead of a linear throughput model of resource use. The overarching aim is not just sustainability, but planetary healing. Ecological design restructures how human society interacts with natural systems, from individual buildings to global production patterns. Here's Q6. What is the scale of action from the document? What is the scale of action in ecological design? The scale of action required for ecological design is broad, deep, and global. While human societies face urgent issues, poverty, inequality, poor health, food insecurity, and inadequate housing, These are all connected to environmental degradation. Solving them becomes far more feasible with a clean, functioning environment. Key points. Current efforts are inadequate. Present-day actions to address the environmental crisis are fragmented and too small in scale. They must be upscaled to be ecology-based and systemically effective. Collective action is essential. Change won't come from individuals, groups, or even nations acting alone. It requires the political will and coordinated global effort of all of humanity. Education and re-education are critical. Current generations of designers must be re-educated to become eco-literate. Future generations must be trained from the start with ecological understanding. Architecture and design curricula must be reframed to embed ecological thinking at their core. People are the root and the solution. The environmental crisis stems from human behavior. Therefore, it can only be solved by human transformation, by becoming responsible stewards of the planet. In short, ecological design must scale from individual practices to global systems, and its success depends on a cultural shift as much as a technical one. Q7. How is ecological design different from other approaches, such as bioclimatic design and green certification systems? Ecological design distinguishes itself by being performance-based, not prescriptive. Unlike LEED, BREEAM, CASB, and others, which focus on checklists and technological benchmarks, ecological design uses ecological principles as the foundation. Technology, like net zero energy or water systems, is secondary to ecological integration. Ecology first, not tech first. Green certification systems often prioritize efficiency and carbon reduction, but neglect the ecological context of a project. For example, Passive House emphasizes energy efficiency, but may not fully address local ecosystems. Bioclimatic design versus ecological design. Bioclimatic design responds to local climate through passive means, e.g. orientation, ventilation, shading. Ecological design goes further, responding not just to climate, but to the full ecological system of a place. Climate is just one consideration among many. In short, bioclimatic and green certified designs can be useful tools, but ecological design aims for deeper systemic harmony with nature. Q8. Designing for happiness, health and well-being of people. Ecological design also addresses human well-being. A healthy environment is foundational for a thriving society. Key points. Built environments must support happiness, health, comfort, aesthetic and emotional fulfillment, biophilic nature-connected experiences. Design for life, not just function. Spaces should uplift, heal, and connect people to the living world. This includes clean air, access to natural light, greenery, natural materials, and sensory harmony. Human and planetary well-being are intertwined. Ecological design recognizes that the health of ecosystems and human well-being are inseparable. Healing the earth and healing society are the same mission. A heartfelt light. To every soul whose hand did give, you've helped me dream, helped me live. In darkest hours your light came through, with hearts so kind, so pure, so true. Your gifts, like stars in deepest night, have steered me gently toward the light. Each coin, each word, each silent prayer, a thread of hope, so rich, so rare. My eyes once dimmed, now seek the skies, and slowly, clearer visions rise. Because of you, I dare to see the world again. Its grace, its plea. Your compassion's flame will not just stay with me alone. It lights the way for others wandering through despair to feel the warmth of selfless care. You've shown what love in action means, in quiet ways through giving scenes. You've built a bridge from soul to soul and made the broken feel more whole. So let this thanks rise like a song, a melody both soft and strong. May your example gently call more hearts to rise to give. To fall into the joy of lifting pain, of planting hope where none remains. Your kindness walks beside me still, a light, a love, a living will.
don't forget to hit that subscribe button to show your support.